My name is Jeger, and before I tell you my story, I just want to give you what happened before I met Christ, because my story starts after I met Him. I was a really rebellious kid back in high school, and we were going on drinking parties, and I was skipping class with my friends. And I was a really nasty kid. I started screaming at my parents, my grandparents, and living a totally negative life. Before I met Christ, my life was in disorder, and it had no meaning. I was just there because I was there. And for me, I thought I was in charge, and I got this. I can live my life for my own pleasures. I grew up in a Christian family, but I really wasn't a Christian. And every Sunday, me and my parents, we would go to church, and it would be fun. It was like family day for us. But then my mom had to work abroad, and it was really hard for us. And later on in high school, me and my brother found out that our parents were gonna get separated. They told us, they sat us down and they said, we're gonna be separated. And that was a bummer for me and my brother. I started losing weight, and I thought this was it for my life. I was just gonna be this. So one day, my friend introduced me to a brother of mine, who I count as my brother now. He was a youth leader at one church. And we started hanging out. Little did I know he was discipling us before I even knew it. And I didn't know what that was. I thought we were just hanging out. So he grouped us up together, and we were 12 friends. And he said, I've been praying for a life group for 3 years, and I believe that that's you guys. But then one day, after we kept meeting continuously with the youth leader, we started to form a life group, and he started to disciple each of us. And my whole concept of Christianity and who Jesus is changed. I needed to know Him more, because these people are really, you can see it in their eyes. You can see the love of Christ in their eyes. And I thought, maybe if I can know Jesus, maybe I can know that there's more to my life. So this one friend of mine, she came to me again, and she invited me and said, you should come to our church. We're having an event this evening. And I went there. I saw people worshiping, welcoming each other with love. And the pastor was speaking about love and assurance. And I thought, how'd you know what was going on in my life, that I was looking for love? So I was just messed up. I was in the middle of, is this real? Or is this just feelings? I went home that night, and I couldn't sleep. I was staring into the ceiling, and I just started praying. For the first time, it was real for me, that I was actually talking to God. And I asked Him, God, if you're real, show me that you're real. Show me what love is. 10 p.m. at night. And I found myself in an empty field near my place. And I just remember looking up and asking God. I just kept asking God to show Himself to me. And I remember a gust of wind. It was awesome because the trees weren't moving. And there was just wind. And I just encountered and experienced love. I didn't know what it was, but I know that I wasn't alone that night. I went home smiling, knowing that tomorrow would be different. I went to school and I didn't want to do the things that I used to do. I didn't want to skip class anymore. I didn't want to start smoking just because my friends say it's cool, and drinking and coming to drinking parties and getting drunk because it's cool. And I just started reading the Bible more, getting into this word more. The youth leader who came to me, his name is John. Now John said, hey, let's meet up this time at a restaurant. I showed up and he was waiting there for me. I showed up an hour late and he started sharing to me Acts 1:8. You have been empowered by the Holy Spirit to be a witness in this place, into a larger place that God's sending you, and into all the world. And that was amazing. Hearing that word, I read it many times and it just made sense to me there. So we continued on. I continued my walk with Christ. I began to know him more. I got close with the church members and we were like one big family. The family that I thought I was missing in my life, I found with them. And these changes just started happening. My friends started transforming before my eyes. I started to not know them because I knew them as friends who were skipping class and doing all these vices. And now they started wanting to meet up. It was National Day in our country, in the Philippines. And all the stores were closed. But we really wanted to meet up. Like we were in one group and we're looking for places to meet up. Like, let's go there. Nah, it's closed, man. And we found this tree, gathering shade in a park. And one of my friends said, how about we go there, in that tree? And I said, where everyone can see us meet up and have Bible study? And he said, yeah, why not? And I was like, wow, this is my best friend. He's the one who started the whole, hey man, let's quit class and let's go to this bar and everything. Started saying, let's meet here. What excuse do we have? So we met there and we formed this life group, a ministry that would impact different campuses. And I thought I'd stay there and enjoy everything. But then my mom gave me a call one day and said, Jeg, you're coming to Bahrain. And I said, no way. I didn't know what to say. I was gonna decline. I was gonna say no because I started something and I was getting comfortable. I found friends, family, and people that care for me. I was thinking, I went to John, my youth leader, and I said, should I go and leave everything behind and start over? And he reminded me of when we met in the restaurant. And he said, remember that verse that I shared you? That God has made you a witness in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. And he said, what if Bacolod was your starting point? And your Judea was the Philippines, a kind of a big crowd. And what if Bahrain is your Samaria? And then I said, I might actually take that leap and go. So my mom called up and she said, Jeg, your visa's ready. You'll be ready to go in 3 weeks. And it caught me by surprise. I was like, did I actually say yes to this? I told my friends that I was leaving. They were bummed at first. But they said, Jeg, as much as we need you here, maybe you're the only one that God wants to send there so he could impact something. In the plane, I was changing my mind when it was takeoff. I was like, no, I don't want to go. I changed my mind. And God's just speaking to me that I'm going to show you why I sent you here. So I went to university here, and I thought culture shock. I didn't know the culture that was going on here. I didn't know that it was this tight and this close. And being used to campus ministry in the Philippines and coming here and seeing no interaction whatsoever reminded me of my old self. Like, wow, I was that isolated. This one friend came up to me one day in university and said, "Jeg, we have campus ministry. You wanna come? We're having it on Wednesday." Then I was like, "Yeah, dude, I wanna come." Like, how'd you know I wanna come? I was praying for it for months. 7 months of doing nothing and just suddenly coming to uni. I went to campus ministry and I shared this testimony, and it impacted a lot of people because they've been praying for people in that community with hearts that are so on fire for Jesus, to come and meet up and to reach out to our brothers and sisters in our university. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know why I was here, and now it's making sense to me now. And help them to know this Jesus that we carry in us. And we were just so passionate about the lost. We were meeting in one room and thinking of how we can reach out to them and invite them to come to our Bible study. But every time we met, we looked for a blank classroom. And a classroom that didn't have classes going on. We checked the time. There was not gonna be a class here for 3 hours, so we could work with this. And we got some complaints from different Arabs coming to us and saying, "Why are you doing this here? This is not a church. You know, you're not allowed to do this here." And we just disregarded the comments and said, "What can stop us from meeting together?" So one of my friends went and met up with the chairman of the university and started praying to her. And then he started to share the heart of the ministry that we're doing. This campus ministry. She got so touched that she permitted us to do this thing. And it was like awesome for us. We were like celebrating, like, wow. Like if God puts you to it, He'll put you through it. And we just experienced that whole thing that God was moving in our midst, that His presence was walking with us. And it makes total sense when Jesus is at the center of everything and the everything of your life. So right now we're doing campus ministry recently. And we've reached out to some of our Arab friends who have come to know Christ because of God moving in them. And a testimony of one of these friends came up to me and he said, "I want this love that I'm seeing in you guys." And I'm like, wow, man. He said, "I've been to a lot of religions and I've seen many wrong things about it. But then I heard of Jesus and I see nothing wrong. And He wants to learn more." And just one life, one soul that would be touched by the gospel. And anyone can be used by God to reach out to those people, to send to the nations and reach out people in campuses, in workplaces, at home. And it's just amazing how God intertwines everything and takes one guy's testimony and makes an impact on another person's life supernaturally without even them preparing for what would happen next. And that's the story of the continuation of my walk with Christ.